Hi everybody, it's Peter Sari here from Centrica. Welcome. I'm the Group CPO and I run real estate and facilities as well. Welcome to Amazon Business Exchange and welcome from Centrica. We'd have a good little talk around what we're doing at Centrica. We're really driving a revolution, really driving a different way of thinking into our own organization. We have a new management team within Centrica. Under the leadership of Chris O'Shea, our new CEO, and we're really all about, being absolutely manic around supporting our customers and getting our customers what they need on the right time and helping them to feel that they are well supported from Centrica with all of our brands behind us. Behind that, we as a procurement function are working out how we can really become much more efficient, nimble, and focused on inspiring and helping the most important person in our organization, which is our engineers who deliver our services for us, and our businesses who support our engineers. And really, how can we eliminate as much bureaucracy and intermediary processes across Centrica so that transaction can be as efficient and as effective as a process. And as we're starting to drive that revolution into Centrica, we're making really good inroads. We partnered with Amazon Business to really help us focus on our core business. So driving that revolution, we're trying to do now what probably would have taken 4 or 5 years. We're trying to do it in the next 6 to 12 months and find a very different way of working as an organization. And really, as I said, our focus is really on delighting our customers and making sure that they're looked after, winter, summer, and they're kept warm or cold depending on the season. So that revolution is really important for us, and we see that revolution really important from the point of view of we're moving very much into a digital way of working as a company. The planet, as we know, is moving into a very digital way of working, and we want to use all this newfound freedom and functionality to really eliminate intermediaries within our process, and to really, make it as quick and as efficient as possible. So that's what's driving us as an organization. I thought I'd share what we're doing, and let's have a little bit of a sharing, and hopefully you'll feedback to us as well. But for us, we're a 209-year-old company, so a lot of history, and I kind of find myself inspired. At night, I can imagine 209 years ago, the little guy going out and lighting the little gas lamps and thinking, what would he be thinking about, about what 2020, 21 would look like. And I'm sure he wouldn't imagine what we see today and the opportunity for us. But over those years, we've also built up a lot of complexity and a lot of intermediaries within our processes. And we're trying to really drive, to a much more simplistic way of working, of how our engineer can find a way digitally to order what he or she needs to be there on time to help him or her fix what they need to do. And that's what we're thinking about through that whole lens. How do we do that? And we're very proud and very inspired to partner with Amazon to help us do that. As I said earlier, I think we all sit there as procurement professionals with things like our procurement process, feels a bit like Amazon, but it probably isn't, because we've got lots of intermediaries and lots of process steps that we need to have as corporations. And we've tried to find a way, and I think we've done a really good job now of Amazon, to have the functionality of Amazon and Amazon Prime as a process built into our own existing DNA. And that's what I thought I'd talk about today, how we've taken some of the complexity and really focusing on the simplicity. And we're doing something a bit bold, a bit brave in our procurement function. And it's going to be interesting. And we're a little bit into, about 8 months into our process of transformation. So I thought I'd tell you where we are today and where we're planning to go. That's okay. But driving from complexity to simplicity is our ambition, and making it as simple as possible for anyone in our business to get what they need as quickly and as speedily as possible. For us, it really is about focusing on what matters, and what really, as I said earlier, what really matters is, if one of our customers in the winter, their heating's gone down, they're cold, can an engineer get, a backup heater in place, to support that customer and do it quickly and fast, using a process. And so we've kind of been thinking the linear way of doing that. We would have set projects up, we would have set processes up, we would have taken a very long time to think about it. Today, everything that's happened with the COVID virus, everything that's happened, it has provided opportunities for us to accelerate our thinking and drive much more exponential thinking around how we can actually make our processes much more quicker and much more aligned to what the digital marketplace offers us, to allow, as I said, to allow that friction. So we kind of moved away from linear thinking, and for us, our environment's changing every day, and we need to get, we need to be able to move much quicker and be, what got us to where we are today will not keep us here. Where we want to go is very different, using digital tools and digital practices. And we're trying to drive that and embed that in our exponential thinking and drive that into our organization. And that's part of us, from a procurement function, driving that revolution into our business end to end. So really are focusing on what matters. And I brought up the CrowdJect. All of us procurement professionals know the traditional CrowdJect matrix, strategic leverage, non-core, bottleneck. We're trying to be using that as a mechanism to really get our business to understand what it is we're trying to do, and really focus on where our core activities need to be focused, and really on our strategic and our bottleneck suppliers. Where the value is not particularly lying, except for cost, is in our leverage suppliers, and our leverage portfolio within our supply base. And we're trying to find the right balance now as an organization to build the right supply base, understand where all of our money is spent, understand what goods and services are purchased, and we've had significant investments in ERP platforms and e-procurement platforms, but we're not really getting the details that we need, the breakdown of our cost base, the breakdown of what we're buying. It's still a challenge to understand that. We feel now, looking at a different way of working, looking at a different way of getting our content into our platforms is where we want to spend our energy and really spend our focus on our strategic and bottleneck suppliers. And that's kind of where our thinking started off from, how we're going to get there, how we're going to do that, and how that's going to hang together. We also know, we're not the most supportive customer for some of our suppliers. We are difficult to do business with, and we're aware of that. We've been thinking that through the supplier view, what that looks like, how that hangs together. And we want to understand it from each dimension. From our view, looking out, what do we need to do to support our customers, and then how do our suppliers look at us? And that's why we've been focusing a lot in Centrica on what really matters now to drive us into a very different way of working, and a very different way for us as a company anyway, of thinking when it comes to procurement. For us, a new focus really is around our teams within procurement, focusing on the strategic and bottleneck elements of our supply base. We're using a methodology that EY developed for us called collaborative value management, and that's really where we focus on our purely strategic suppliers, the ones that we need to do our business. And our business is all around getting heaters and boilers and all that kind of stuff out to our customers. And also, our technology partners that help us do that in a very digital, controlled way. And they are our truly strategic suppliers. Our bottleneck suppliers are suppliers, that we need to work with. They're very important to us, but we're not there to extract value from them too much. We're not there to leverage them. We need them, probably more than they need us in some cases. And that's part of our challenge. We look at this as a focus moving on. But we're driving, a methodology for our organization where we're looking, the ROI and what we're doing from a point of view of a procurement perspective. We're looking at the efficiencies of our process. We're trying to get the data, and we're getting very good results in data mining and understanding where we're spending our money, who we're spending it with, and what that looks like from a bang for buck perspective. So we're getting there, good progress in that. So the focus is really, much better than it was, I would say, even 18 months ago. but we need to really focus on and free our business and our organization within procurement to really focus on the core of our supply base and work with exceeding partners like Amazon to help us really drive our value with our leverage suppliers that really are volume based, or suppliers that we really need to support our business. And we've moved to a methodology within Centrica now. We have partnered and we've embedded Amazon Business into our Ariba platform and opened Ariba up to all of our users now to really enable that business prime Amazon service you all know in your private lives to be embedded into our business lives. And we're in early days, it's looking good, but our vision really is to drive that further into our organization. And when we think about how do we future-proof our organization and build a foundation to grow, we see it vitally important. We digitalize our processes. And as I said earlier, we work with partners such as Amazon to really help us deliver what we need to do as a digitally enabled procurement function. So what we're trying to do now, with our business partners working with our business, is really look at our bottleneck suppliers that, we probably need them, we're just volume to them, and we buy from them, and really push most of that business out to a company that's really good at doing that, and probably much better than us at doing that. And that, our stationery suppliers, some of our uniform suppliers, all that kind of stuff, that really helps to drive the corporation. We're going to push that out directly to Amazon and enable our business to call off directly within our Ariba tool using Amazon to really buy what they need when they need it. We're also empowering our users to be able to buy up to £200 in the UK by themselves, with self-approval within Ariba. So it means they can buy from Amazon and buy directly from certain categories that we've turned on in our leverage portfolio to really drive and understand and make it as quick and as efficient and make our end user experience as simple as possible, and then get what they need. And I know you guys out there will be saying, what about the price? And we've been benchmarking, we've been observing our pricing that we had internally versus our prices we get from Amazon. And we haven't seen any negative results so far. And I think the cost benefit we get from allowing Amazon to manage our leverage supply base is really important to us. It means we can focus our procurement teams to really focus on our strategic suppliers. But the one good thing in it, and applies to all of our process, and it wasn't really until we were able to embed Amazon into our Ariba platform, and we can then start to enable e-invoicing, did the process really start to make beautiful sense to us as a company, because it meant we could have an end-to-end transactional model, but we could have a one-to-one relationship, with Amazon, and Amazon has a one-to-many relationship with our suppliers. But we still get the benefit of digital invoicing, and we still get the benefit of front-end control in our process. So that works really well for our bottleneck suppliers. We will still have some catalogs that we'll still manage and we'll still maintain in our Ariba platform by ourselves. But that evolution will change and grow, I think, much faster as we get better and smarter in managing this process, and as we learn more, as our data intelligence gets better from understanding what we spend and how it hangs together. That really works well for our bottleneck suppliers. For our leverage suppliers, it's the same thing. We can really push that out to Amazon and let those guys manage those kind of projects and contracts and processes, and really understand how it hangs together, and make sure we've got the right content and right catalogs in place, and still use all the functionality of the invoicing. Just going back to the bottleneck suppliers, we will still have to work day in, day out with those suppliers, using tools like supplier relationship management and collaborative value management to really understand our relationship and help to drive win-win solutions with our suppliers. When it comes to leverage, we really think that's something we can let Amazon manage for us on our behalf, and we'll monitor it and we'll understand it, and we'll empower our end users to really drive value and really drive an end-to-end frictionless process through the process of our Amazon tool, our Ariba tool embedded with Amazon inside, so they can buy what they need, and our engineers can buy what they need when they need it, and use the functionality of Amazon Prime to get it delivered on the next day. Our non-core and our routine suppliers, we can allow them go through Amazon Business, and we will. We'll push more of those guys through the Amazon Business model as we start to work out how that makes sense. We have a team in Centrica who's managing that for us and making sure that we understand it and we push it very carefully and we understand how we enable those suppliers. But we will still need, our focus from a relationship management process. But the ability to get all the transactional functionality enabled, through Ariba, through Amazon, I think is a great value for us. And we do recommend it if you guys are thinking about the same kind of journey. It does make sense, Our purely strategic suppliers, we still need to work in very close relationships with those. We're using collaborative value management and SRMs, our methodologies. And we're not there to be the living daylights out on price of those guys. We're trying to work together to make sure we understand how, together as two companies, we can still extract value. And this is where we're going to put the bulk of our procurement focus in the future on our strategic suppliers and our bottleneck suppliers. But we still want to use the functionality of Ariba and Amazon fused together for the transactional volume, where we can get content, where as Amazon moves more into services-based procurement, as we move some of that services-related stuff out into Amazon as well, it helps us. But for us, really, it is about that ability to get a one-to-one relationship and then rely very much on the one-to-many relationship that Amazon gives us, and not having us enable each and every supplier in our supply base and having to maintain and manage all those supplier records. We still, as we're focusing on our strategic suppliers, we truly want to be able to still use the transactional velocity, if you will, of Amazon and Ariba together as one platform for us in Centrica. That's about future-proofing us, but really getting our organization, our procurement function, to really focus away from the leverage, really focus on the strategic and the bottleneck, and really focus on how we actually make, as I said earlier, the lives of the guys who go out and serve our customers as easy as possible, while we still maintain and focus, as we in procurement, and we say this in Centrica, as a procurement function, we are just the guardians of a spend, and we're going to be very careful how we still spend our money, and we'll be constantly monitoring. The one thing I do love, the Amazon business, is the amount of additional reporting we get on top of what we get from Ariba. So it's great for us as an organization, but that's how we're hanging it all together as an organization, really focusing on the activities we need to really, as I said earlier, delight our customers, but also our ability to make it as easy and efficient for our organization, while we can still keep and maintain and understand our cost base, and really understand how and when we can actually optimize different suppliers and different costs as and when needed, based on the Crowljax matrix. But as I said, big thanks for that. We have, as an organization, moving very much to a very much simplified, future-ready organization that becomes very digitally ready. And we're proud of that. I think we're making good progress. We're just bringing in real estate and property into the same portfolio and managing those processes in a very similar kind of way, how we manage some of our stuff we buy for our buildings as a whole. We are switching away from what we used to call category management, and really focusing on portfolio management and having our portfolios teams really focus on those strategic bottleneck leverage, and rather than having traditional category management. The category management is something we also believe in Centrica we can digitalize. So with that in mind, I really hope you understand, and hopefully you enjoyed some of the things we've been thinking about. Please come and talk to us, write to us at Centrica. We'd love to talk about it, we love to share, and we love to inspire. So thanks for taking the time, and thanks from me.